That's 120 pre-advising and
Priority 1 message coming in on secured channel.
I'm going to draw you a flow chart up here, and I want you to write it down because some of you need it for your after you get out of high school. Okay? So, and some of y'all don't even know what a flow chart is, so we'll just go from there. Most of the time, your colleges are going to have here we go. I wish people quit messing with these things. All right. Usually you're going to have a math 102, 101, and then a math 102. Now, most colleges are going to be called introductory algebra and intermediate algebra. They go along the lines of algebra 1 and algebra 2/3. Most of you have had algebra 1 and algebra 2. The problem is they stick you in a geometry class between the two, and then they tell you don't need math anymore, and you should take an underwater firefighting math. And then when you get to college, they put you in a placement test, and the placement test covers algebra 1 and algebra 2, which you've already what? Forgotten. You've forgotten it. All right? So naturally, you're going to do low on the placement score or the entry exam or whatever you're talking about because you haven't had that algebra. And they're going to put you in a math 101 or 102. Some of you may have already had that. Okay? Good, fine, dandy. Math 102 branches off into several maths. Write this down for those not writing it down. You're going to be the first one to ask when you go to college somewhere. Because I can guarantee you, if you go to South Carolina, anywhere in South Carolina, it's going to be about the same. Now, what are those classes? Well, it's based on the majors. Liberal arts, 120, which is probability and statistics. Liberal arts, 103, which is about the same as a couple of units are the same as 120, same as this class. So if you are in, what is liberal art? Anything that's not based in math or science. Name me a major. Business, kind of a mix. It's down there in the lower left-hand corner. We're going to go into that in a minute. Name me another major. Education. Education, liberal arts. What else? Psychology. Psychology is a liberal arts. Nursing, liberal arts. But some parts of nursing, like radiology, you have to have some college algebra and some trig, which is the science route. History. If you want to teach history, if you want to teach psychology, if you want to teach English, if you want to be a journalist, any communications, anything, if you want to teach a foreign language, any of those non-math, science-based subject areas or degree programs is liberal arts. Chances are, if you're going to get an associate in arts degree here at Tri-County before you move on, which is I would highly suggest for some of you that's not high school students, or if you want to go here, because you can present that associate in arts or associate in science to any college and they will accept you without any questions asked. All right? And it's also good for your job or career, whatever you're in. And take it from me, I have one from Tri-County Tech. I would not be here right now if I had not got that associate's degree, because I probably would have dropped out or something because I didn't have it. I mean, or I wouldn't have made it into Clemson if I didn't have it. So that's your liberal arts. And then you got your business. Business, accounting, marketing. And that's 109, which is a sister to college algebra. Okay? This is called modeling in algebra or something. This is called college algebra. College algebra is for the math and science degrees. Give me a math or a science degree, do you think? Biology, yes. Teaching biology, research biology, being in a lab all your life, biology, whatever you want to call it. What's another one?
Business.
Business is over there where it says business.
I said physics.
Oh, physics.
Yeah.
Yes, physics. Teaching physics, being a scientist trying to figure out why the earth moves at 24 hours a day or whatever, that kind of physics. Being an astronaut, physics. What else? Engineering. That's one of the biggest ones. Okay? And then what do I do? Teach. Math. Math, teaching, or studying why 2 plus 2 is equal to 4. Okay? Research math. That's when you get into the shapes and all this other stuff. I don't care nothing about that. Chemistry. You want to teach chemistry. You want to do construction science, architecture. Anything that's got a base in math or science is going to be that 110 route. Now, I'll give you something else about the 110 route. You ever have a series of courses that covers just about any major? That's it. Now, why is that important for anybody in here, especially those out of high school? Because you have no freaking idea which way you're going. Okay, you don't. I didn't. I was going to be a mechanic. All right? And I studied mechanics at Tri-County Tech for 4 semesters, or 5 semesters. And right before I got ready to graduate, they canceled the program. So they said, you have 2 options. You can go to Greenville Tech, which I didn't lose anything in Greenville, don't care nothing about going over there. So I said, that ain't an option. And they said, or you can be an associate of science student. I didn't even know what that was. And I would not be here teaching you today if I'd have picked the other one. Dang old quantum physics, quantum mechanics, making decisions. All right? So, if there is a doubt whether you know what you're doing in the next 5 years, you need to go that 110 route. Did everybody understand that? Why? Well, let's say Mr. Orr, he decides he wants to go into computer science, and he takes the 110 route. And five months later, he changes his mind, and he wants to be a biology teacher. Well, he's in Calculus 1 now. Guess what? Doesn't matter. Well, let's say he wants to be a history teacher. Goes over to the history professors and counselor, and they open up his file or pull it up and say, okay, well, you need to take a math. Oh, you've had calculus. Okay, that's good. Click. Calculus will suffice for any math in any program. If it doesn't, I want you to come tell me, because I want to know where you're going to school. All right? Because that calculus will cover everything. Now, these routes are similar, but why do you have different routes? Well, because some people don't want to take the main route. That's why. This is called Math 130. It's called Business Calculus 1. This is called Math 230. This is called Business Calculus 2. This goes into college algebra. Trig. And then you go Calc 1. And then 1, 2, 3, Diffie Q. If you are the grandson of an accountant, and your grandfather opened an accounting business or a marketing business or a business, whatever, and you know that you've got a job, like Mr. Smith says, then there's no reason for you to do the college trig Calc 1 route. You need to do the business route. But what happens with those business people is they're not 150% sure that they're going to get a job they change their major because they're not sure, okay? So let's say that 10 people go in the business marketing route. Probably 2 of them are family business marketing accounting people. In other words, they've got a job. So they're just going to this is just a formality. I get my accounting degree. I get my accounting license. I got a job. And they go, boom. The other 8 are going to probably change their majors 2 or 3 times. Now, why is that important? Because if you do the 130 and the 230 in a business major and you change your major, most of the time, that 230 and 130 won't transfer. But if you take the Calc 1 and Calc 2 route, that will cover anything. You see what I'm saying? That's why I think it's very important for all students to understand this, okay? Because you need to understand what you're going into, and you need to ask yourself, how certain am I that I'm going to be a doctor? Or how certain am I going to be a nurse? Or how certain am I going to be a teacher? I'll tell you 2 things that's very important if I was you. If you want to be a nurse or if you want to be a teacher, make sure you go into a shadowing program your freshman year. What's a shadowing program? Where you actually go with Miss Wary at her job and you go through and do what she does every day. And you go through a teacher and you do what they do every day before you go into that major. Why? Because I'm going to tell you something. I couldn't do either one. You are a teacher. I'm a teacher of adults. I'm not a teacher of students, kids. You don't like kids? No. Yeah, I do like kids. I don't like the parents. I don't like the administrators. Okay? I'm one of these people, let me teach. You're not in my world. Go away. All right? That's the way I am. So I can't be a teacher K through 12. I can't. I can't be a nurse because I'd slap somebody. I couldn't be a cop because if I saw somebody robbing you, I'd shoot them. You know, or if I saw somebody breaking out of your house, I'd shoot them. Period. So I couldn't be a cop either. So I guess I'm just where I'm supposed to be. Now, that's why I tell you that, because you will change your mind. And the best route that you need to go, unless you are 150% sure, is the Math 110, 111 Calc route. Now, how far do you go? Well, by the time you get to Calc 1, you're probably going to have a good idea of what you want to do. Excuse me. Most of your maths, most of your physics, most of your chemistries are going to go up to Calc 2 at least. Now, math and engineering goes to Calc to DiffyQ. Okay? Are y'all listening, or should I just even? Yes. Okay, I just want to make sure, because it looks like some of y'all are just gapping me off, and that just irritates me, all right? I'm trying to help y'all. Anybody have any questions about this? Because I did this to a class the other day, and I got like 50 questions. But y'all don't talk, so. Anybody got a question? Does that help you? Somebody asked a question up here about math. I thought somebody asked a question, didn't somebody? Oh, I guess I didn't. I guess in my imagination.
But like, if you're not a liberal arts major in this class, will this transfer to you?
Yes, man. All these, the 120, 110, 111, 109, 2, all these classes, the only thing that does not transfer is the 101 and 102. Because those are what you call prep courses. Okay? The reason a lot of you are high school students and they put you in this one or 103 is because it's college transferable and you don't know what you're going to go into pretty much. And, you know, that's why a lot of them, I got about 15 in the college algebra. 15 high school students, but they are sure, 100% sure that they're going the science route. Y'all are probably either undecided or you know you're going into a liberal arts program, one of the two. Yes, ma'am.
Where would physical therapy fall into?
Where would what?
Physical therapy.
Now, physical therapy is one of those things like radiology. They want you to have some 110 and 111. Okay? Why? Because physical therapy, you got to know angles. You got to know angles like crazy. People go, angle, you know, your knee, knee joints. Okay. So I would probably suggest that you do the 110, 111. A lot of people say, well, what if I don't need it? You're going to need 2 maths to get an associate in science degree. You're going to need 2 maths or science to get a bachelor's degree. So that's your 2 maths if you take them somewhere else. And let's say you change your major to pre-med. Then you can go on into Calc 1 because you've had college algebra and college trig. That is the best route for anybody to go that's not a liberal arts major, pretty much. Okay? Who's got another question? Okay. Yes, sir.
So what's the difference between 120 and 103?
Nothing. They just needed a watered down, they just needed another math. They used to have 220, which is a continuation, but the Clemson students couldn't pass. Students wasn't doing well in it, so they gave us another math, which is 103. And when students can't pass one of those 2, they'll water down another one, and we'll have to teach it. I'm sorry, I should have said that. Yes, ma'am.
I have a question. Like, if I'm doing, you said psychology was under liberal arts, but what if I'm doing like the forensic psychology, criminal psychology? Would that
Forensic, you just threw science in there, so you can forget the liberal arts. You're in the science route. Just think. The more difficult it is, as far as science and math, the more you need this route right here. That's why a lot of liberal arts majors are out the yin yang, and that's why people can't get jobs, because they're flooded. Just put your name on this one. Okay, you got it? Who's got another question? Yeah. Has anybody met with their advisor yet?
I am Zay.
Huh?
I am Zay.
Okay. Who's your advisor? Is it a nursing advisor? Okay. Who's your advisor? Okay. Okay. Yes, ma'am.
Like, I'm still in high school and stuff, and I called the person up at the front desk, and they told me that I was supposed to go to the orientation, and then, like, I need my advisor there. Like,
Yeah, that's the way it usually works. Because you've been working through a counselor through dual enrollment. And you must be graduating because you're going to be a college student probably next semester. So you're going to have to go through orientation. Now, a lot of people say, well, I don't want to go to. If I was anybody coming out of high school, tell my daughter this, my daughter don't listen to me because I'm stupid. But go take some classes at Tri-County. You're getting a little bit of taste right here with me. And if you've been taking English, whatever, the more you take at Tri-County, the better off you're going to be at College of Charleston or USC or Clemson or wherever. Okay? I'm serious. I am very serious. If you think that high school is the same as college, and you think you're going to regurgitate and you're going to study for 15 minutes before a test like you did in high school, you're going to have a rude awakening. I've got a friend. I got one. I got a friend, and their son is at AU. And I told him, I said, you're going to go into this calculus class. You better know what you're doing. You better study. You better do. Oh, I got it. I took pre-calculus. Just like my daughter, you're stupid, Hubert. Came to me before the final exam, crying. And it hadn't been for me for the final exam, he would have failed. He made a D. A student, pre-cal, made a D. It's not the same world. Okay? So I'm not trying to scare you. Just do what I tell you. Take English 101, take Math 120, take Math 103, take different teachers to get a feel, because you got to get climatized to being in that college setting. Okay? Not all your teachers are going to be fantastic like me. Okay? All right, any other questions? All right. Now, additive law. And get this done, because what happens when we go on break? And y'all will be mad at me. Of course, I don't have anything to do with it, but you're going to be mad at me. And
Break next week.
yeah, the spring break is next week. Don't come up here next week, all right? All right, now right quick, we're going to cover a little bit of additive law and the other law, multiplicative law. I'm going to do them at the same time, okay? And then we're going to work a bunch of problems, not today, but we're going to work them next time we see each other, okay? That's not it. There we go. The addition rule. The addition rule is usually given by the word or. Somewhere around here there should be a word. Or and, I'm sorry, and. I can't remember. I hate this book. I wish we'd never switched. They spend 15 minutes talking about joint and disjoint, and they don't need to be spinning. They need to be, there we go. The general addition rule, write it down. Look at that word right there. Or. Okay? When you see the word or, that is a magic word for, okay, you need to use the additive rule. Now, with or and, you've got to think about the word or, and you're going to add the two together. All right? Now, they're talking about joint and disjoint. We'll go back after you write that down. The only thing you've got to remember, I'm not going to go through this. I'm just going to write on the board. Move this over here where I can write. And I'm going to take, and I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do this. And I'm going to do this. All right. The additive law focuses around the word or. If you read a problem and it says the probability of red or blue, I'm going to ask you, what is the probability of red or blue marble being picked? Then you use the additive law. The only thing that you have to remember with the additive law, we'll write this in red, is always subtract the overlap. Okay? What in the world does that mean? Well, that's what they're talking about with the joint and disjoint. All right? I don't spend a lot of time talking about joint or disjoint. I talk about overlap. Because when you see the overlap, you'll say, oh, I understand. Okay? And I'll get to it in just a minute. Now, with the multiplicative law, we're talking about the word and. What is the probability of a blue and a red marble? And usually this and this or is going to be in the last few words of the question. Okay, what is the probability of blank and blank? Okay. The only thing you got to remember on this guy is with replacement or without replacement. All right, so make sure you have those two written down. And then we're going to do a couple of problems. And you're going to see the difference, because the best way to show this is not explaining it. The best way to show it is to just do problems. because usually I'll try to explain it, with probability and everything. But this is the best way just to show you a problem. Now, one thing about the additive law is usually going to be given to you in tables. Now, the tables, when you look at them, are going to be, they're going to look simple, but you're going to start thinking about them and you're going to get confused. But don't think about it, all right? Because if you start thinking about them, that's going to get you all confused. So, let me just make up one right quick, all right? Let's say the additive law, let's do R, I think it's RH negative for some of you nursing people, and RH positive, dang old blood types. Let's see, there's O, and then there's what else? What's the other ones? A and B? I'll just do those, okay? I don't know about the AB negative, so I'll just do these.
There's Abby Mama.
Huh?
There's Abby Mama.
Is that supposed to be like A? Oh, hang on, we'll ask. All right, let's go with, let's say O is most popular, so we'll do 25 here, 30 here, 10 here, 5 here, 5 here. And that's 30, 40, 50, 75, 25 here. That should be 100. Somebody check it right quick.
Yes.
Now, I want to know the probability of O for B. Okay, now which method are we going to use? The additive law or the multiplicative law? The additive. How do you know that? Well, you know it because I just told you. There's the or right there. So you need to highlight that. Because this is not just an example. It's an example showing you how to do it, explaining how you do it. So the or tells you additive law. Now you take your handy dandy highlighter and you highlight the O. And you highlight the B. Actually, I should have used two different colors. Okay, there's the B. Let's see if I can do this. If I wanted to move this O column, it would erase the whole thing if I touched it. Okay, that's good enough. And let me change that to aqua. I had a high school ring, and it was aquamarine. Had it for 2 days. Busted beaver dams and lost that one thing. Somewhere in Hartwell Lake by now, I guess. All right. Now what do? Well, where's the overlap? We got to subtract the overlap. Is there an overlap? Does the colors overlap? No. Then you just add everything. 25 plus 30 plus 5 plus 25. Now what's it all over? The total is 100, right? And that's your answer. Dang old 85 over 100. Somebody check me. So you got a 0.85 probability if you was to put all these people's blood types on a piece of paper and put them in a hat. The probability of pulling an O or a B would be 0.85%. Does that look like it would be true? Why? Why do you say yeah? Just to say yeah, or why? Why would you say yes? That looks about right. Because your biggest numbers are in the O and the what? B column. So yes, that would be about right. Now, what if I told you to pick the probability, or to calculate the probability of O or RH negative? Do that one. And if you can't do it, just meditate on. Next week, I got to do a bunch of grading. I got to grade tests. Ugh. I got to grade y'all's bonuses. Now, unless you've had Math 120 before, you probably don't have a clue how to do it. Okay? What's the number one rule on the additive law? Always subtract the what? The overlap. Well, let's take this time. We're going to make our how do I do this? Let me just go back. I'm going to have to go back. Because it'll take Act of Congress to move those two highlight colors. So I'm just going to go back and remove them. There. All right, so I'm going to highlight one of them. Dang old zoo. And that's, what did I say? I forgot. O.
You have a work
Or let's go with dang old magenta. Oh my God, we got overlap. So add everything up and always subtract the what? Overlap. So I'm going to go here and I'm going to go 25 plus 30. And I'm going to put that in parentheses. And then I'm going to go plus 25 plus 10 plus 5. And then I'm going to go out here and I'm going to put in red.
Priority 1
minus.
message coming in on secured
What is
channel.
overlap? 25. Now, this is when I usually get the smart aleck that goes, well, why don't you just cancel the 25s out? All right? Unlike you, Mr. Perfect, there's some people that don't know why or don't know how to do that. That's the whole point of teaching. Okay? I always get somebody to ask that, so I just stop you before you ask it. All right? There are some people that have not had probability and statistics. Over what? 100. So you could now,
Priority 1 message coming in on secured channel.
Heck, come on. Let me shut this thing off. It's on my nerves. There. You could take your handy dandy red marker and you could knock off that 25 with that 25. That's fine. And now you could do 25, that's 40, or 30, 25, that's 40, and 70. So you got a 0.7 probability. Y'all check my math.
Right.
Of course it is. So that's how you do the additive law. Okay. Let's do a nerd. How about the probability of A or RH positive? All right, you do that one. So if you know anybody in Florida, you need to text them, or you need to call them, or you need to Facebook them and tell them that they need to vote for Trump. Okay? Tell them to vote for Trump or Kasich or Cruz. Because I would love to see Rubio lose his home state. That would be so funny. I wonder what he would say. Oh, well, we still got a chance. You know, whatever. Okay, nobody's listening.
I was listening.
I know.
I'm listening.
That's all right. Just forget it. We'll just do math. Anybody got any people in Florida?
I do.
All right, get on the phone. You need to tell them. Say, look, South Carolina, we did our job. Time for Florida to do their job. Tell them to vote for Bernie too. I want to throw out all the daggum politicians. Even though Bernie is a politician, he's crazy. I like to listen to him. He sounds like the aardvark on Pink Panther. What do you think? What do you think? Y'all ain't never seen the aardvark on Pink Panther, have you?
I haven't. I like it.
Huh?
I like it.
You have seen it? Wow.
I used to get up in the morning and watch it on Boomerang with my grandmama.
Did you? All right, well, that's neat. At least I ain't crazy. At least somebody's watched it. All right, so we can do with A. There's A. And then RH, we'll make that dang old dad of the day. Did I say it right? Dad of the day. Dang old ain't nothing worse than a redneck trying to speak dang old purple board. All right, so that's going to be 10 plus 5 plus 30 plus 5 plus 25. Now I'll do my handy dandy red virtual pen and minus, what's the overlap? 5. Now see, when I teach this and I teach the overlap, I have nobody asking any questions because they can actually see the what? The overlap. But if I go into joint and disjoint, y'all have no idea what I'm talking about. all over 100. Then you'll take your handy dandy blue virtual pen and take your 5s out. And 25 plus 5 is 30, so that's a probability of point what? 0.4? Yes or no? Should be 0.4 or 40%. Of course, 40% is called chance.
I got 7.
Yeah, I got.
Yeah.
Okay, everybody say it one time. 1, 2, 3. 70. Thank you. Instead of, oh, Bubba in the back going, yeah, man, you wrong. Bubba don't even know what day it is. Yeah, man, you wrong. You stupid. Oh, I guess I just didn't. Oh, I didn't add the 30. I just left the 30 out. I'm sorry. Sorry. Yeah, man, you wrong. You stupid. Okay, Bubba, what's the answer? I don't know. I just heard everybody saying you wrong, so I just jumped on the bandwagon. All right, 7.7. How about that? Is that better? I suck. It was. Just put anything. All right, who has a question? All righty, let me get the roll and y'all can shut her down. I'm gonna let y'all go. Let's see, is this the last day for y'all this week? All right, so y'all ain't got to come back till next year sometime, right? Get mad.
I hope I was stuck in the wheel.
I don't know what I'm gonna do with these people.